So this is Nelson Bay. What a gorgeous winter's day. Look at this, isn't this amazing? Can't believe how beautiful it is here. So this is the marina over here on our left. Looking absolutely stunning, just sparkling. Got the seagulls out here on the water. And that over there is the little ferry that takes you out across to Tea Gardens. Let's have a zoom in and have a look at the ferry. Such a cute little ferry. It takes about an hour to get across to the Tea Gardens from here. And we're going to follow this path around to Little Beach. At this point here we're around about an hour north of Newcastle, which is about 2 hours north of Sydney. It took us 2 hours to get here today from Brooklyn, where we've been living, and we've just met up with the owners of the house where our next house sit is going to be located. We had a lovely lunch, lovely seafood lunch at the Fisherman's Wharf, which is around just past the marina, just over in that direction. Beautiful spot. Actually saw 2 dolphins quite close to shore. Come swimming by as we were having our lunch, which was really lovely. And of course the dolphins are well-known residents of Port Stephens, which is where we're located. So the waterway itself is known as Port Stephens. You can do whale watching cruises, you can do dolphin watching cruises. And here's the poster for the ferry that takes you across to Tea Gardens. And we have a cafe here called the Dolphin Watch Cafe. Here we go. So let's see if we get lucky. Let's see if we see any dolphins out here in Port Stephens this afternoon. There are people fishing from the beach. The tide's come in, which means that we won't be able to climb down these steps to get to this little beach, but we will be able to follow the path a little further along and walk down to the beach where it's a little bit flatter. So we'll do that. Up on the hillside beside the path across the road, some magnificent gum trees, beautiful gum trees. And I can hear the rainbow lorikeets squawking away at the tops of the trees. This is a really interesting tree here on my left. It's called a paperbark. And this is the reason it's called a paperbark. Literally the bark is very like paper. Right, this path is great for walking, for cycling, It's a popular area for holiday makers to come to. And right now, it's actually New South Wales school holidays. So there are lots of families holidaying in this area just at the moment. So we can see here that this is one of the ways that we can get down to the beach. In fact, why don't we do that? Why don't we go down this path here and walk down onto the sand. And keep an eye out while we're walking in case we see pelicans, which we may see. We saw some while we were at lunch today. This is what the beach looks like here. It's so pretty. Look at this. How beautiful. How beautiful is this? You hear the sound of the water lapping against the shore. And we get to see some of the really interesting Australian flowers, such as these amazing banksias. And hear the lorikeets right above our heads in the trees. They're hiding though, hiding amongst the foliage, so we can't actually see them. As we walk along the beach, we'll keep an eye out for things like driftwood or shells that might be interesting that we can stop and have a look at as we walk. We've got shells. And the constant soothing sound of the sea washing against the sand. Oh, I just found a really, really interesting shell. Yeah. Here we go. It's pretty. This is a popular spot for sailing. Lots of people here have their own boats, but you can also hire boats. And just up ahead, there's a marine reserve. It's an area that's been set aside in Port Stephens for the purpose of encouraging marine life. Anecdotally, our friends have told us that they've seen turtles, they've seen seahorses, so you can go in there and snorkel and see all kinds of different sea life just beyond this point up ahead. What a wonderful location that people can actually swim here right in the middle of winter. Over there in the distance is Gangan Lookout, one of the high points in this area. A fantastic lookout on top of that hill. It's tricky walking on this sand because it's sloped downhill, so my right leg feels longer than my left leg. So I'm looking ahead to see if it's practical to continue walking along the sand or whether I should return to the footpath for a while. Let's continue a little further and see how it looks. Here's some interesting driftwood. There's a fair bit of seaweed that's been washed up on this side of the beach. So let's see what the rocks look like up ahead. And if it's not possible to pass this way, we'll come back and return to the road to make our way around this point. Lots of lorikeet noise right about here. So here we have the start of the sanctuary. So there's two zones for marine life. We've got habitat protection to the right, and then we've got the sanctuary zone to the left. So in the sanctuary zone there's no fishing, no collecting, whereas on the right there's various fishing rules do apply in terms of what you can catch and in what quantity. So this is the start of the marine sanctuary here. So no, it's not possible to walk past this point, so we will go up to the road to continue on. You can see how clear, crystal clear the water is. It's lovely and clean, very clear. So we'll turn around and head up these steps and make our way across to the next beach, which is called Little Beach. All right. So this is a one-way street. There's only traffic going up the hill. There won't be traffic coming down towards us. plenty of space for cyclists and pedestrians on this road. And we'll just pull over and check the signal from here. Just find a spot. So we're going to walk down here and check out this little bay before we head around to Little Beach. And these are some of the species that can be found in the marine sanctuary. So if we were snorkeling, we might encounter some of these amazing fish and other sea creatures. Of course, there's the dolphins, cuttlefish. We might see nudibranchs, hermit crabs, all sorts of fish we might see if we were snorkeling in these waters. So there's some stairs down. We've just seen 3 people come up with their snorkeling gear, exiting the water. This is one of the big cruise ships. They've been out whale watching. It's right in the middle of the whale migration right now. It's returning from searching for whales out at sea. And you can see how clear the water is down here. Crystal clear. Beautiful. It must be full of sea life in there. So let's head round to Little Beach. Here we have a kookaburra up in the gum tree. Looking at his tail. There's some rainbow lorikeets coming in on the branches up there. They really blend in with the foliage though, so they're hard to see. And there's the kookaburra. So this is this is the remnants of a small bushfire, and we have to wander in the middle of winter after a reasonably wet period of autumn. what would have caused a fire like this. A speculation is it was most likely someone threw a cigarette butt, and this is the result. We noticed while we were having lunch today, smoke over in that direction. So our guess is not that it was a bushfire, something Australians are very aware of, but it was probably a scheduled, what they call a hazard reduction burn. Up on my right we have some beautiful gum trees, and we're still hearing the sound of the lorikeets. And of course this is koala country, although there are residential areas near here, so it's unlikely that we'll find koalas in this exact area. Not impossible, but unlikely. On my right over here there's a small reserve with a bush track. It's called the Port Stephens Nature Garden. Port Stephens Native Flora Gardens. So we could walk in there and have a look, which is anything up to an hour and a half walk through the native gardens. So we've got runners, we've got cyclists, we've got people walking their dogs. And look at this beautiful bay down here. It's so pretty. That's where we're headed right now.